boxing will just thrive and just keep going up and up and up and up. So Canelo, come on, what's up, dude? Give us the fight. Don't give us bad fights. Give us good.
Oscar De La Hoya isn't one to mince words, especially when it comes to his former protagonist, Canelo Alvarez. What was once a thriving partnership has unraveled into public disputes, accusations, and sharp criticisms. De La Hoya has now taken on the role of an outspoken critic of Canelo's career decisions.
You're regressing and it does nothing for your legacy?
No, I think it's not make sense to respond that.
When it comes to Canelo Alvarez's rumored financial demands for fights, Oscar De La Hoya has been relentless, accusing him of letting greed overshadow the true essence of the sport. The hot topic in boxing right now is the potential showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo. However, the fight has yet to materialize, largely due to the weight disparity and most notably, Canelo's hefty financial demands.
Crawford would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Backlash know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to?
Oscar De La Hoya hasn't held back, famously challenging Canelo Alvarez to grow some guts and take on the fights that matter, rather than hiding behind astronomical pay demands. Reports suggest Canelo is asking for $150 to $200 million for potential bouts against David Benavidez or even Terence Crawford. For De La Hoya, this isn't just about money, it's about Canelo's unwillingness to embrace a real challenge. You don't demand insane numbers if you truly want the fight. You take the fight and prove you're the best. That's what fighters do. That's what legends do, De La Hoya declared.
By the way, you lined my pockets. You made me a shitload of money, all because you're afraid of.
Tension between Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez is undeniable, but De La Hoya insists his criticism isn't fueled by their personal fallout. Instead, he frames it as advice for a fighter he once elevated to superstardom. Canelo is one of the best in the sport, but he's making it hard for people to respect him. Asking for $200 million, come on. That's not about wanting to fight. That's about avoiding one, De La Hoya remarked. He argues that Canelo's hefty financial demands are a tactic to sidestep dangerous opponents, particularly rising stars like David Benavidez and Terence Crawford. Benavidez, an undefeated fighter in the super middleweight division, is widely seen as a credible threat with the skills, size, and style to challenge Canelo. He's afraid to lose, De La Hoya said bluntly. That's why he's pricing himself out. If you believe in your abilities, you don't make demands you know won't be met. You step up, fight, and prove to the world who's the best.
Who would have won at 154? You or Canelo?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
How do you think it would have won? You around
Easy,
the time
hands down. Yeah.
You?
Oh, easy. Come on.
Why?
Why? Because nobody can stop the jab. Nobody can ever stop.
Canelo Alvarez's financial demands have reportedly caused friction with key figures in the boxing world. Even well-funded entities like Saudi Arabia have found working with him challenging. Turki Ali, a prominent Saudi boxing official, publicly criticized Canelo, calling him difficult to negotiate with and suggesting his financial expectations are unrealistic. Oscar De La Hoya shared a similar view, stating, "When you're dealing with people like the Saudis, who are investing huge money to make fights happen, you don't play games. You come to the table ready to deal." But Canelo seems more interested in being difficult than making these fights a reality.
Canelo running from Benavidez. What is that? I mean, imagine if I ever ran from anybody. Like, did I run from somebody in my career? No. Did Chavez run from somebody in his career? No.
Oscar De La Hoya has also weighed in on the possibility of a clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Crawford, the reigning welterweight champion, has shown interest in moving up in weight for what could be a legacy-defining fight. However, De La Hoya questioned Canelo's willingness to make it happen. Crawford wants it, but does Canelo? That's the real question, he said. De La Hoya didn't hold back when predicting the outcome of such a matchup, and his assessment wasn't flattering for Alvarez. At 154, Crawford didn't look as dangerous as he does at welterweight. Now imagine Canelo being the bigger, stronger guy. It's almost a no contest. A smaller guy beating a good bigger guy is rare, almost unheard of. Still, De La Hoya added, Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We don't even know if Canelo will take the fight.
Crawford, all the credit in the world for even thinking about possibly fighting Canelo. But if that fight ever takes place, I have Crawford 1,000%. And people are going to say, oh, well, you're contradicting yourself. I kind of am, but Crawford is also a big guy. Yeah. Crawford is a big guy who can handle a Canelo because they're the same size.
These comments add another dimension to the debate: legacy versus business. Oscar De La Hoya argues that Canelo Alvarez is prioritizing money over his legacy, a decision he warns could hurt him in the long run. At the end of the day, fans remember who you fought, not how much you made. They remember the risks you took and the wars you went through, not the dollar signs in your bank account, De La Hoya said. He believes Canelo must decide what matters more, being the richest fighter or being remembered as one of the greatest. De La Hoya's own career lends credibility to his criticism. As a fighter, he faced everyone, from Manny Pacquiao to Floyd Mayweather, regardless of the risks. He insists Canelo, already financially secure, should follow the same path and take on the toughest challenges.
Fighter versus fighter and talent. Obviously, Crawford is the craftier boxer, but Canelo has the size, he has the power, and it's like Aram said, he'll run right through him.
You've made your money, Canelo. Now it's time to give the fans the fights they deserve. Stop hiding behind numbers and start fighting the best. That's how you cement your place in history. Oscar De La Hoya's comments carry an added layer of intrigue, given his strained relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Their promotional split was far from amicable, with Canelo accusing De La Hoya of dishonesty and De La Hoya labeling Canelo as ungrateful. Despite their history, De La Hoya maintains that his criticism stems from honesty, not personal animosity. I'm not saying this because we had our issues. I'm saying it because I know what it takes to be great, and I want to see him live up to that potential, he said.
Wow, you're losing your opportunity. You came, you conquered, and now what? Don't let your flame just go away. You're on top of the world, but start thinking like a fighter again. Don't think like a businessman. Think like a fighter. Get back in the ring. Do what you do best. Fight the best.
Not everyone shares Oscar De La Hoya's perspective. Some argue that Canelo Alvarez has earned the right to demand high purses, given his status as one of boxing's biggest stars. They point out that he has already faced a roster of elite fighters, including Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Plant, leaving little for him to prove. De La Hoya counters with a simple response: there's always more to prove. That's the nature of this sport. You don't stop proving yourself until the day you hang up the gloves. Meanwhile, talks surrounding a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford appear to be gaining momentum. If finalized, this matchup could send shockwaves through the boxing world.
It's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to
Jumping 2 weight classes to face Canelo Alvarez is no small feat, and questions about Terence Crawford's ability to absorb Canelo's punches over 12 rounds are raising eyebrows. Once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different. Some observers warn, citing concerns about Crawford's endurance against Canelo's power. While it's known that Canelo tends to slow down in later rounds, his strength remains a formidable challenge. The highly anticipated showdown is reportedly set for September 2025, with both fighters preparing for what could be the biggest bout of their careers. Talks are intensifying and reports suggest the deal is nearing completion, with Las Vegas emerging as the likely venue for this historic clash. This fight has the boxing world buzzing, not just for the spectacle, but for what's at stake. 2 pound-for-pound kings from vastly different weight classes are set to collide. Crawford has been chasing this fight for months, boldly declaring his willingness to jump 2 divisions to challenge Canelo for his unified super middleweight titles. It's a move as daring as it is historic, leaving fans to speculate on how Crawford's skill will measure up against Canelo's size and power.
But you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't want to get credit for that fight. It's the same for me.
I don't need to take that fight because every
Canelo Alvarez had initially dismissed the idea of facing Terence Crawford, claiming he wouldn't get credit for beating him. However, it appears he's had a change of heart. Reports suggest that Saudi boxing chief Turki Alik played a significant role in bringing both sides to the table, and advanced talks are now underway with the deal almost finalized. What seemed like a pipe dream just months ago is now nearing reality. For Crawford, this fight is about more than just a paycheck. It's about legacy. At 37, he knows his time at the top is limited. After becoming a 4-weight world champion, this fight would add another remarkable chapter to his story. While Crawford is already an icon, stepping into the ring with Canelo would elevate him to a whole new level. The fight is set for 168 lows, meaning Crawford will enter unfamiliar territory. Canelo has dominated this weight class, defeating fighters like Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, and Billy Joe Saunders. He holds the experience, power, and physical edge, but don't count Crawford out. Known for thriving as the underdog, his technical skills may offer a perfect counter to Canelo's brute force. Interestingly, there won't be a rehydration clause, giving Canelo the opportunity to bulk up after the weigh-in, which could give him a significant size advantage. Some fans argue this gives Canelo an unfair edge, but Crawford doesn't seem fazed. He's ready for the challenge.
Fred, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that
Even Shakur Stevenson, who has sparred with Terence Crawford, believes the underdog might pull off an upset. Honestly, I've been saying this for years, Stevenson said. I've always thought Crawford's style would give him the edge against Canelo. I'm not saying it'll be easy, but Crawford can make it look easy. Canelo is not just walking through his punches. Terence can punch, and that goes for any weight class. That's high praise from someone who's tested Crawford's skills in the ring. However, we can't forget who Canelo is. He's one of the most experienced and dangerous fighters in the world, while some argue he's slowing down, especially after his loss to Dmitry Bivol. This is still Canelo Alvarez, one of the toughest fighters in the super middleweight division. Crawford is stepping into his territory.
For going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154, 160.
but not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Canelo. Yeah.
Oh, Canelo. I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power.